Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego for another fun-packed K1 Visa Green Card live stream. Today is October 15th, 2025. The month is almost gone. Where did October? It's going to be almost November, and those folks who are waiting patiently for K1 visas to get approved, another month is going to slide by. I got to hide that little line there. This is the line to one of the lights here. In order to run a studio, you got to have lights, believe it or not. So anyway, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you legal advice. I don't work for USCIS. I got to say that because I got to say that in that way. It's a disclaimer. So you guys know what I'm giving you is 12 years worth plus of experience in processing K1 visas, green cards, spousal visas. I can do this in my sleep. I can process a green card while taking a nap in an armchair. That's how much I know. And with a YouTube channel like this, you cannot make mistakes. So I have made zero mistakes in all of the time that I've been doing this, and I've helped people get their K1 visas get approved, spousal visas, etc. But number one, you got to qualify for the benefit. Okay, if you don't qualify for the benefit, then there's no point in filing for a K1 visa because you're going to get denied right off the bat. And I don't want to see anybody get their K1 visas denied or their green cards. So number one, before you file the K1 visa, make sure you qualify for the benefit. And what do I mean by that, qualify for the benefit? Well, you got to make enough money. You can't have any bad criminal record, especially against women and children. You cannot have any kind of criminal record like that, especially. You have to have met each other and be in a real relationship, and you got to be able to prove it. There's lots of folks, they file a K1 visa, they met their love of their life. They met her once for a week on vacation, came back to the United States and filed a K1 visa and then hope they're going to get approved. Well, it ain't going to happen. You don't get a K1 visa approved if you've only met somebody once for a week's vacation. That's not how it works. So I got my keyboard here. I'm trying to get everything set up pretty good with this new camera, this microphone. Everything seems to be running smoothly. I learned some new things about YouTube. I've learned some new things, how to add tags and, try to make the reach a little further. Because as you know, on this channel, I never, ever ask anybody to subscribe to this channel. It is totally like begging. It's like panhandling. So I don't do that. If you like the content, most folks are going to subscribe. If they don't like the content, they won't. That's how it works in a free market capitalist economy. You like it, you don't like it, right? I got my Bogota t-shirt on. My landlord in Bogota, he bought this for me when we relocated to Florida. Once Corinne and I packed up all our stuff in our apartment in Bogota, and the landlord, he was like sad to see us go, and he gave me a ball cap and some t-shirts and things like that. Because I lived there for almost 3 years. So I became part of the furniture in Bogota in this apartment that we lived in, because I wasn't allowed to work in Colombia. The part of the rules stated you cannot work while you're on a visa in Colombia. So I didn't work. So I just made this YouTube channel. And it was Karina's idea. Mr. Nahas, good evening, Diego. What's going on, Mr. Nahas? I hope you can hear me nice and clearly. Normally I don't put the microphone right in front of my face, but apparently it's a better sound quality when it's right here. And you don't talk into the microphone like this. You got to talk with the microphone pointing straight up, like you're looking for Elon Musk Starlinks. Cornell Rivers, what's going on? Hello, Cornell. Cornell is a member of the channel, a loyal member of this channel. And now listen, Cornell, if you text Karina your address to the cell number that's in the channel for members only, then we can ship you a bag of coffee for free. We'll give you a bag of free coffee. Just let us know if you want roasted or if you want beans. Karina started her coffee company. She's going to kick it off January 1st, 2026. And in March, she's going to be applying for her 10-year green card. So it's been a busy year, 2025. Yeah, Cornell. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just text Cornell. Just text Karina your address and then tell us if you want roasted or beans, and we'll send you a bag of coffee. Francois Livingston, good evening. Diego and Karina. Francois, what's going on? How's Hamid doing? I got my Bogota t-shirt on. That's a big city right there. Living in Bogota was like living in New York City. Now I lived in New York City and now I've lived in Bogota. And the only real big difference was in Bogota, they only speak Spanish. Francois Livingston, all is well here. How are things in Florida? Everything's good. Trying to figure out somebody to build a website for Karina's coffee company. Tomorrow we got a meeting with some folks at a business meeting to see if they're going to be satisfactory, if we like them or not, to build this website. If not, we'll keep looking. But we got everything in place for Karina's coffee company. We just got to, even the legal documents have been filed. Everything's good. So we just got to get a website built. So we're looking for someone to build a website. Exciting time for you two. Yeah, Karina's excited about it. She went to the dentist today, so that wasn't exciting. She went to the dentist. You know, I tell you what, when we went to the dentist in Bogota, Colombia, it was $6 for x-rays. When I got my x-rays done, when Karina had her x-rays done in Bogota, it was $6 for the x-rays. And we went today for Karina's dental, and we had the x-rays done for Karina. It was $325. I'm like, what the heck? $325 for x-rays here, $6 in Bogota, Colombia. You know, but we're not leaving the country. We're not going to leave the United States until Karina's a U.S. citizen. So we just have to suck it up. But when Karina becomes a U.S. citizen, then we will be going to Bogota, Colombia for all of our dental work. We ain't going to pay that kind of money. Let's see. Abduli Jallo. Hi, Diego. Greetings to you watching from Florida. Well, we're glad that you're watching us from Florida. We hope you and your family are good, doing well. And we have Zara says hi. What's going on, Zara? Now, we're in Florida, right in the panhandle of Florida, right here in close to Pensacola. And it's a beautiful part of the country. We're lucky so far. We haven't had any hurricanes hit us yet. The season's not over, though, till November. Zara, I want to know questions they asked during the interview. Well, what interview are you going to? Are you going to a 2-year green card interview? Are you going to a U.S. Embassy consulate interview? What kind of interview are you going to? Because the difference is the questions could be a little different depending on where you're going to be and what you're trying to get. Are you trying to get your K-1 visa approved, or are you trying to get your 2-year green card approved? Remember, everybody's going to have to go to an interview for their 2-year green card. Now, if you put together a fantastic 10-year green card application, then hopefully, probably not, depends on how much work you put into it, you probably won't have to go to any more interviews. When you go for your 2-year green card application, you must repeat the vaccinations. You got to get your vaccinations. When I say repeat, I mean they got to be recertified. They recertify the paperwork. You don't have to repeat the vaccinations. But if you don't have any vaccinations, then you have to get them. And you have to redo the medical exam. Some say, well, I just did my medical exam 3 months ago. I'm not going to repeat it. Okay, well, then just don't repeat it. Don't get your freaking green card. Cornell Rivers, how much information do they need for benefit support? And when should you start getting that information? So what you're saying, Cornell, is you're trying to get ready for what are we at? What are we doing? Where are we at? What are we doing, Cornell? I'm trying to remind me where you are in the process. Benefit support, when I was in Florida and Karina was in Colombia, even though Karina was doing well, making plenty of money in Colombia, in Bogota, every month I'd send her some money in Western Union, a couple of $100. And then every month I would keep those receipts, and I kept all those receipts and put them in her K-1 visa application of evidence that I was sending her money. Just even though she didn't need it, I wanted to prove support for my fiance, now my wife, right? Approval letter. For the NOA 2. So you're getting ready. So you're the NOA2 letter. Have you received it? You received it, right? So you got your NOA2 letter, which is a notice of action letter. Your K1 visa's been approved. And now what you want to do is you're collecting evidence for the green card interview. Okay, so you're collecting evidence for the green card interview. Once a month, send your beneficiary some money. I don't know. I don't care if it's $100, $50. Every month, send a little bit of money. Keep the receipts from Western Union or whoever you use. You could use Zelle, I guess. Although Zelle is primarily within the United States. I would send Karina, $100 once a month from Florida to Bogota, and I kept the receipts. And all the receipts went in. She brought them with her to the K1 visa interview, but by that time I'd already moved in with her in an apartment in Bogota, and I was paying the rent. Well, she was paying half, and I was paying half on the rent for our apartment in Colombia, and so my name was on the rent, and her name was on the rent on the receipt. So whatever evidence you can collect, Cornell, regarding supporting your beneficiary, but the most important thing is just to send some money once a month, just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be a bunch unless you want to. I mean, you can if you want. But Karina didn't need the money. So I just sent her money once a month just to say I was doing it, And then I had the receipts, the Western Union receipts. You can't really send any money any other way overseas. It's just no way to do it. I don't know of any other way to do it. I'm sure there is, but I just don't know of a way. But that would be the basics. MoneyGram, okay, then do a MoneyGram. There you go. I was trying to think of that word. Keep the receipts of all the MoneyGrams that you sent and just keep collecting them, okay? Now, you've already got the approval on the K1 visa from USCIS Service Center. So what you're doing now is you're waiting for the K1 visa package to get sent to the National Visa Center, but keep sending money once a month in MoneyGram and get those receipts to your beneficiary before she goes to her visa interview. Let's see. Zara, my interview is coming up for the 2-year green card adjustment of status. Don't panic. It's no big deal. Know everything about your beneficiary and your sponsor. Know everything about each other. Karina knows everything about me. I know everything about her. But we didn't have to go to a 2-year green card interview because I submitted a package that was so strong that, it wasn't necessary. But now times have changed. So even if you send a strong application to the green card folks, you're still going to have to go to an interview. Wear business casual clothes, business casual. Don't be wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a bowl cap. Wear business casual clothes. Questions you could get: what have you met? Where did you meet for the first time? How long have you been dating each other? How many times did your sponsor come visit with you? Have you met your beneficiary's family, mother, father, brothers, and sisters? Do you know the names of the brothers and sisters of your beneficiary? Like Karina, she's got so many brothers and sisters, okay? In Brazil, in Colombia, and Venezuela. And I've met probably half of them. So, know the family members, know the name. I know the names. I know the name of Karina's mom. I know the name of her dad. I know where they live. I know what district they live in Venezuela. I know that Karina's mom and dad are very strong Trump supporters. Now, I'm not saying that to be political because they're Venezuelan, but they love Trump. So I know that by virtue of interacting with these folks, talking with them. I spoke to Karina's mom in the WhatsApp chat. How are you? I speak Spanish, so I can talk with her in Spanish. I know all about her mom. I know what she likes, what Karina likes, what she doesn't like. I know what Karina's favorite food is. I know what her favorite color is. But I can't nail down her favorite car. Because whenever she gets off of work and we're walking through the parking lot and there's different cars in the parking lot, she pretty much likes every car in the parking lot. And she'll point to a Honda Accord. I like this car. or she'll point to an Audi, or she'll point to this SUV, and she likes everything. Because in Venezuela, all the cars are basically this small, and in Colombia, all the cars are basically this small. So there's not a great selection of vehicles in Bogota. It's basically this or motorcycles. So Karina's in another world here in the United States, in Florida, looking at all these different models of vehicles. So, there you go. But don't panic for the 2-year green card interview. They're going to ask you, where did you meet each other? How long have you been dating? How many trips did your sponsor come visit you? Have you met his family or her family? Like they asked Karina at the embassy interview in Bogota if I have a brother. And Karina says, yeah, I have a brother. Well, what do you know his name? They're trying to catch her. They were trying to trip her up. She said, yeah, I know. And she named my brother, and she said where he lives. I mean, amazing. Karina knows everything about me. I know everything about her. So we're not worried if we have to go to a 10-year green card interview, which will be next year. We're not worried about it. If we have to go, okay, no big deal. We'll go. Other questions they could ask you at the 2-year green card interview is, what is the color of the carpet in the bedroom? Are there any windows in your bathroom? What's the color of your sponsor's toothbrush? So investigate the house that you live in, or the apartment, or wherever you live. Investigate everything. Study everything. I mean, it's not normal for a person to memorize what color a freaking toothbrush is. But in this case, it would be a good idea. What color is this toothbrush? Are there any windows in the bathroom? What's the color of the carpet in the bedroom? What side of the bed do you sleep on? Do you have a TV in your bedroom? Do you watch YouTube? I mean, there's so many things they could ask you. So make sure you know everything about each other. And if you don't know the answer to a question, don't panic. Say, I don't know. So I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay. When Karina went for her K1 visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, they asked her 12 questions. I mean, it was bam, 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 bam. And she's responding, bam, 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 bam. And then the last question they asked her was, how did our relationship develop? Well, we've been dating each other for freaking 3 years. So she started the process of explaining how we met each other in Bogota. And then I stayed there for a vacation for 2 weeks, and it ended up being 6 weeks or whatever it was. And then I came back for 5 months, and then came back here, then came back for 11 months, 10 and a half months. And then he said, okay, he said, no, that's it. No, that's good. No more. And she said, well, you asked me the question. I'm giving you a freaking answer. He said, no, you're good. You passed. So don't panic on the interview. If you are familiar with each other's lifestyle and likes and dislikes and favorites, and you got no worries. But dress professionally. Dress like you're going for a business, like you're going for a job interview. Abduli Jallo, Mr. Diego, what are the procedures of adjustment of status under K1 visa for 2-year green card? It's a lot of paperwork. Okay. But you've got basically about 3 months to get it all together. You arrive in America, in the United States. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is check in with the Border Patrol. Then you're going and customs. Then you're going to print about 5 or 6 copies of your form I-94. I'll write it here. Okay. I-94. I-94. You want to print about 6 copies of your I-94. The I-94 is going to be the document that you are working from now, not the K1 visa. The K1 visa goes away. K1 visa goes away. The K1 visa is a non-immigrant visa that gives you access to enter the United States one time in one way. Then you get an I-94. On the I-94 is going to be how much time you have in the United States before you have to leave. There's going to be 90-day window of time on the I-94. In those 90 days, you got to get married. The I-94 has to be included in your 2-year green card application. A copy of the biographic page of your passport has to be in the K1, the 2-year green card application. The sponsor's U.S. passport biographic page. And you make a copy of the biographic page in color and blow it up nice and big so immigration can read it. What else goes in a 2-year green card application? Well, most importantly, is a certified copy of the marriage certificate. Now, you get the marriage certificate. You don't go to Office Depot and make a copy of it on the copy machine or at the library. You have to get at least 5 or 6 certified copies of your marriage certificate. You have to include a certified stamped copy signed by the clerk of the court for your 2-year green card application. If you just go to the library and make a copy of your certified marriage certificate, you're going to get either denied or they're going to send everything back to you. So it's very important that you include the marriage certificate in the 2-year green card application, and it has to be a certified copy by the clerk of the court. You got to repeat the medical exam and recertify the vaccinations on a 693 using the correct edition of the form. That goes in your green card application for the 2-year. Okay? Are you keeping up with this class? Most of you guys know this, but this is to help Abdullah. Okay? Copy the I-94, certified copy of the marriage certificate, copies of the biographic pages of the passports for the beneficiary, the sponsor, copy a blown up color copy of the K1 visa or the K2 visa, whatever the case may be. Photos of your wedding, photos of your honeymoon, any dinner dates that you went on during the process while you get to America, you go on some dinner dates together. I got an itch. Include some of those receipts. Get your name on the bank. Get a joint bank account with your American citizen sponsor. Wait for a couple of months and those bank statements will come in. Put those in the 2-year green card application. Get your name on the electric bill, the water bill, the gas bill, the trash bill, etc. Wait for those bills to come in with both of your names on the bills. Those copies go into the 2-year green card application. Now, you don't have to get certified or notarized copies of the bills. You can just get copies off of your computer at home or at the library or whatever. Okay, so what you are doing in the next 90 days is you're compiling a package of information together that's going to convince immigration that you are happily married, living under the same roof, and are commingling funds and are accepting responsibility for each of you in a relationship that's just started in the United States of America. Okay? So you got to prove to immigration that you are living under the same roof as your husband or wife. You are joint responsible for the bills by putting both names on the bills. Now, obviously, you don't have your green card, so you can't get a job. So you're not going to be able to contribute probably hardly anything in regards to money, okay, until you get the green card, then you can get a job. So immigration know that. So immigration are not looking for you to be paying into anything when you first get to the United States for the first 90 plus days, or 6 months actually, until you get the green card. Then you got to prove that you are working together as a couple for the 10-year green card. All right. What else do you have to include in the 2-year green card? Well, get your name on the title to the car, the title to the motorcycle. Get your name on the lease agreement to the apartment. Get your name on the deed to the house. Show that proves that you guys are living together, right? Get health insurance. It's critical that you have health insurance, and you prove it when you file for the 2-year green card. So you get the medical exam repeated, you get the vaccinations recertified, or unless you're missing some vaccinations, get them done. Because if you file for a 2-year green card and you don't have all your vaccinations up to date, your green card's going to be denied. Immigration's not sending out RFEs anymore. If you submit the package correctly, you get it. If you submit errors in your package, it's going to be denied. And then you're going to be filing other forms and paying more money to see if you can get it reopened as a case. So you don't want to do that. So you don't want to make any stupid mistakes when you file the 485, the 864, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. American, Mrs. American Citizen Sponsor. The 864 is a critical form that's included in the 2-year green card application. the 485, which is the beneficiary applying for the green card. The 693, which is the medical exam repeated with the research on the vaccinations. The I-94, which proves that you entered the United States legally. If you don't put the I-94 in your 2-year green card application, you're going to get a green card denial. Immigration don't have time for these RFEs anymore. That's why the process is speeding up. Because immigration is like, no, this one's good, no. So it's very important you don't screw up the paperwork, especially the 864, the affidavit of support. Now, if you need a joint sponsor, the joint sponsor has to fill out an affidavit of support in 864. If the joint sponsor is a family member that lives with you, then the joint sponsor is going to fill out Form 864A. Don't mess that up. If grandma is going to help you with as a sponsor, as a joint sponsor, and grandma is going to be living with you and your new husband or wife, that's cool. She lives in the back of the house, in the back there, and she's going to help you as a joint sponsor. She's going to fill out Form 864A. But if your buddy across the street or your pal from work, your friend from work is going to be your joint sponsor, then that person's going to fill out Form 864 plus you. Don't mess that up. Don't make that mistake. Don't make any mistakes. Okay? Now is not the time for making mistakes in applying for 2-year green card or 10-year green card. Now, when you get to the point in time where you're going to apply for a 10-year green card, you fill out Form 761, both of you. And now you're going to have 2 years worth of evidence to submit for your 10-year green card, not 3 months or 4 months worth. 2 years. So when you apply for your 10-year green card, you're going to include everything you submitted in the 2-year green card plus 2 more years worth of stuff. But when you apply for the 10-year green card, you don't have to repeat the medical exam. You don't have to include Form I-94. You don't have to include a copy of the K-1 or the K-2 visa. Why is that? Because you already have your green card and they've already seen that stuff. So it's already on the back burner and now it becomes irrelevant. Okay? Guys, you can do this and you don't need an immigration attorney to do this. An immigration, they charge crazy money. You know, there was an immigration attorney down in Miami. He was taking people's money, but he wasn't processing any paperwork. There was an immigration attorney who was taking your money, collecting the paychecks, and then not doing anything. He wasn't filing K-1s. He wasn't filing, adjustment of status. He was just collecting the money. And then all of a sudden, these denial letters were coming in from immigration. You didn't file for your 10-year green card in time. You passed the time. Well, somebody had paid this guy to file the 751, but he didn't do it. So they got, after 9 months or so, they got a letter saying you didn't file for your 10-year green card, so you're in deportation proceedings. You're going to go in front of an immigration judge, and the person's saying, wait a second, I paid this guy to do all this for me. Well, this attorney in Miami, who was not doing what he was supposed to, has just lost his law license, so he's no longer allowed to practice law in Florida, and he's being prosecuted by the Department of Justice. And if you listen to me, if you figure this out on your own without using attorneys, then you're not going to be throwing away thousands of dollars, and you're going to know that this is going to get done right. When I filed for Karina's K-1 visa, okay, back in 2023, I mean, seriously, I know exactly how to do this. I had total confidence in myself. You got to have confidence in yourself to be able to fill out paperwork, and don't be scared of the government. Homeland Security and immigration, and they're not trying to stop you from getting your green card or your K-1 visa. They're not trying to stop you. They're just trying to make sure there's no fraud involved. And it's real. You guys are in a real relationship. Now, immigration says that you have to have met each other one time within 2 years before you file the K-1 visa, right? So you could. So what immigration is saying is, you can fly to the Philippines for a week, meet the person, come back, and file within 2 years, and you're qualifying for the visa. Technically, that's true. But in reality, are you going to get it? No. How are you going to justify that you are in a relationship with somebody to get married if you've only met them one time and you only spent like 2 weeks with them? You never had an engagement party. You've never met their family or friends. You have very few pictures of each other. And it's mainly pictures together, not families with pictures of family and friends. When I went to Colombia to see Karina for the first time, we met each other at the airport in Bogota, and then the next day I met all of her friends, the people that she worked with. And I'm getting pictures with all her friends. I'm holding the camera with all these beautiful Colombians. There's about 6, 7 people in the picture. Then I what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? And write it down in my little Guardano, my little notebook, and the date the picture was taken, who's in the picture, and where. I just wrote it down. And then when I got back to the United States after being in Colombia for 7 or 8 weeks, I think it was, I printed the pictures off the printer, and then I made little notes on the pictures identifying the people in the photos and when the pictures were taken and who's in the picture, when and where. So I had about 20 pictures. Now, I didn't use all the pictures, obviously, for the K-1 visa, but that was my first trip. Then my second trip to Colombia, I stayed for 5 months. So once again, I'm taking pictures with everybody, family, friends, different people, plus selfies, a few selfies. And after 5 months of taking pictures, my phone was pretty much maxed out with memory. I came back, and I had a camera too filled with pictures, and I printed about another 20 pictures. And in my little notebook, I had the names of the people in the pictures, the date, their photos, and then I put those and printed about 10 or 20, 15 of those. So I'm now up to about 35, 40 pictures. And those were the pictures I put into Karina's K-1 visa application. Then, once I filed for her K-1 visa, I went back to Colombia and stayed there for 11 months, just waiting for the K-1 visa to get approved. Now, this was during the tail end of COVID, so it was next to impossible for me to get on a freaking airplane, nearly impossible. So I'm flying from Pensacola to Houston to Panama, Central America, to Bogota. I'm bypassing all of the airports in the United States that were going stupid over this COVID thing. So I got to Bogota, and then while I was in Colombia, the previous administration, under Joe Biden, he said Americans cannot travel internationally without COVID vaccination. I'm like, what the hell? I'm in freaking Colombia, and now he's telling me I can't return back to the United States because I don't have this bogus freaking injection. So I told Biden he can pretty much kiss my you-know-what, and I stayed in Colombia for 11 months. The Colombian government gave me a visa to live there legally. It was all legal. Everything was done by the book because I'm all in on legal immigration. And I bypassed all of the Biden's crap. And I got to live in Colombia without having to put up with the crap going on in the United States. And now Biden's no longer president. We got a new president who's actually enforcing immigration laws, which is making it easier for you guys to get your K-1 visas and green cards. No, I'm not, this isn't a political channel. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm just saying what I experienced, with Biden and what I experienced with Trump. With Trump, the process is getting more stricter, but it's getting quicker. With Biden, he basically shut down all freaking air travel in the world. It was totally ridiculous, because when Obama was president, we had the COVID hit. life went on like normal. Nothing was closed. Airports stayed open. There was none of this businesses being closed. So for me to get Karina her K1 visa and was a major hurdle, and it was a difficult process. But I'll swim rivers and climb mountains to get it done, and I did. And then eventually this COVID thing passed. It went away, and I was able to travel freely again to Colombia without any of this COVID crap. So here we are. Karina has her 2-year green card. We're going to apply for her 10-year green card in March. But I want you guys to get your visas too and your green cards. You can do it, and I'm going to help you do it through this channel. Karina, she's tired. She had a busy day today, so she's not sitting with me. Sometimes she sits with me, sometimes she doesn't. But here's the thing, right? I'm going to be doing the live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays for anybody to watch. Well, you got to be a subscriber to be able to ask questions, because that weeds out all the stupid questions and all of the idiots that sometimes surf in YouTube. So if you want to ask me questions, the minimal requirement is just be a subscriber. And you don't have to be a subscriber. You can watch everything. You just can't ask questions. But on Saturdays, I'm going to make the live stream for members only. So if you're a member of this channel, on Saturday, 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing live streams just for the members only. And right now I have 33 members of this channel, 33 members. So you know who you are if you're a member. So on Saturdays, it's going to be live streaming just for you guys. Okay. And also, if you've been a member of this channel for 4 months or longer, Karina wants to mail you a free bag of coffee. And we're going to be giving away other stuff too. Okay. We're going to be giving away keychains. We're going to be giving away coffee mugs, T-shirts, things like that. Now, when Karina starts her coffee company in January, we're not going to be selling any merchandise. We're not going to be selling T-shirts or keychains or coffee mugs. What we're going to do is we're going to give them away when people order coffee. Now, why am I doing that is the question, right? Why are we not trying to make money on selling merchandise? Well, if we sell merchandise like that, we have to file freaking sales tax with the government every quarter or every month. And it's a pain to be filing paperwork every freaking month with the government just to collect sales tax. But in the state of Florida, there's no sales tax collected on coffee. So selling coffee, unless it's, in a coffee with a drink, I'm talking coffee beans or roasted coffee. If it's not in a drink format, you don't have to collect sales tax. So I can be selling coffee all day long and not have to be reporting to the government every freaking month. But if we sell mugs and T-shirts, then I have to be filing tax returns, which is a pain in the backside. So what we're going to do is when people buy a certain amount of coffee, they get a free keychain or a free T-shirt or a free coffee mug or a free bag of coffee. So that's how we're going to run the company. And it makes it easy for us regarding paperwork. Okay. So in order to get the free stuff from Karina, you just got to be a member in good standing for 4 months or longer. And that's it. So how much does it cost to be a member of the channel? $9.99. So that's less than that's what, $39 in 4 months. And then you get a free bag of coffee that's worth what, $20? So you get half your freaking channel membership back in a bag of coffee. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. But the primary reason for this channel is to teach you how to process a green card or to process a K1 visa. Okay. I got some videos being produced. That's going to be how to process a K1 visa in 2026 with the new changes that are going on with immigration. Okay. So I'm going to make a video that's going to be how to process a K1 visa from A to Z. And that will be for 2026 for the new changes. Tomorrow, I'll be working on a video on the 864A. And today I published a video on the 864 with the new rules that are in place. Because under the Trump administration, if you sign a Form 864 and then your beneficiary goes on taxpayer-funded welfare, then you, Mr. Sponsor, are going to get the bill from the government. So let's suppose you marry somebody, and then your beneficiary goes and collects welfare from the government, wherever they live. Okay? The U.S. taxpayers are going to pay first for the welfare, and then you, Mr. Sponsor, Mrs. Sponsor, are going to get the bill from the government to pay the government for the money they paid to your beneficiary. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's being enforced now. In the past, they weren't enforcing it. They were just letting it slide. So make sure that you make enough money before you file the K-1 visa or the green card application. And if you don't make enough money, get a joint sponsor. Don't panic. You can still do this. Immigration is not trying to stop you from, becoming a green card holder. They just want to make sure that you don't take government-funded income that we taxpayers pay, that I pay, you pay. It makes sense, right? When I was in Bogota, Colombia, as a legal resident, temporary, I had to sign forms, saying that I wasn't going to collect any income I wasn't allowed to work in Colombia, blah, 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 blah. The same rules apply in Colombia as apply here. But the difference was here, we weren't enforcing anything. But now under the Trump administration, they're enforcing immigration laws. And there's some people who don't like it, and they're whining and crying about it. But the whole world has an immigration rule in place. Australia, Colombia, Indonesia, China, Bermuda, Germany, France, England, Holland, every country in the world has rules in place regarding immigration. If you break the rules, you get put in prison and deported. But we just weren't doing that here in the United States. We were just letting it slide. Oh, let it slide. No more. That's going out the window. Now, if you overstay your visa, you come to the United States on a tourist visa, and you overstay, you're going to have a 3-year block on ever coming back to the United States. And if you do it a second time, it's a 10-year block. If you sneak into the United States and don't get an I-94 printed, if you don't go in front of a Border Patrol officer and gain parole into the U.S., you're going to be banned for life. So all these illegal immigrants in the United States right now who didn't go through the legal process, who snuck in, if they self-deport and go back to their home country, the Trump administration is going to give you a break. They say, okay, we're going to give you a break. If you want to come back in the future, file the paperwork correctly. But if you're in the United States illegally and you don't return to your home country on your own by your self-deportation, and immigration catch you, detain you, and prosecute you, you're going to be banned for life from entering the United States. So, illegal immigrants, if you are watching this, I recommend you go back home so that way you have an opportunity in the future to come back here legally. Because if you don't, you're toast. The fork is in the marshmallow, okay? So there you go. That's what's going on in the world right now. Immigration is being enforced and by the book. Does that mean that the process is slowing down? No, it's speeding up. K-1 visas are taking 6, 7, 8 months. 2-year green cards are taking 3, 4, 5 months. 10-year green cards are taking the longest. To get a 10-year green card is taking 21.4 months. But the process is much stricter on the 10-year green card. Okay? But so you have your 2-year green card in your hand. You lift the conditions off of it 3 months before your 2-year green card expires. You file for your 10-year green card. And then you're going to get a letter in the mail that extends your 2-year green card by 48 months. So don't panic. Even though it's taking 21 months to adjudicate a 10-year green card, you're going to be still allowed to live in the United States. You can still work here, live here, go about your business without worrying about being deported. Now, if you're on a 2-year green card and you get a lot of traffic tickets, especially a DUI, mainly a DUI, driving under the influence, you're not going to get your 10-year green card. So you got your 2-year green card, you get a DUI, now it's time to file for the 10-year green card. your green card is going to be denied and you're going to be put into removal proceedings. Okay? Just be ready for that. Now, I'm not saying you guys have got DUIs. I'm just saying if anybody's watching this video in the future, and today's October 15th, 2025, if you're watching it in the future and you are a green card holder, 2-year or a 10-year green card holder, doesn't matter what you're going to be renewing, DUIs are going to be a deportable offense. So if you have a 10-year green card, okay, you just got your 10-year green card, you get a DUI. When you go to renew your 10-year green card in 10 years from now, you're done. You're going to be kicked out of the country. Forget even applying for U.S. citizenship because you're not going to get it. And the same applies to multiple traffic tickets. If you are constantly getting speeding tickets, running stop signs, breaking the speed limit, especially in school zones and work zones, and if you get a bunch of them, there's a good chance it's not going to apply. You're going to have a bad moral character, and you're not going to get your U.S. citizenship. So just stay out of trouble. What comes to America, follow the law, follow the rules, don't get caught speeding, don't speed, wear your seatbelt, don't tailgate. I mean, you can get pulled over for tailgating, and that goes against your immigration record. So just pay attention, class, to what you're doing when you get to the United States. Okay? When you become a U.S. citizen, then you're good. If you want to speed, you can speed, but do it on highways where there's nobody you can get into an accident with. In fact, don't speed at all. It's probably the best thing to do, right? Don't do it. It's not worth it. The green card process is expensive. It's time-consuming. It's stressful. And Korean and I, we know that. We've been there and done it. We've been through this process that you're going through. So here we are helping you. The live streams are good. I think the information we put out is helpful. I've saved a lot of people from getting their green cards blocked or denied. I've saved one person from a denial because his immigration attorney was fixing to send him down a rabbit hole that was going to cost him his green card and make him get deported. That's his immigration attorney, for crying out loud. I told him to go ahead and fire that person. Don't pay that person any money. Sign up as a member, which he did for $9.99. And for $9.99, I saved him over $6,000. And he'll tell you when he's on the channel, when he comes on the live stream, he'll tell you, I saved his butt. His immigration attorney was telling him to file the process I told him to file after the due date from the denial letter. The denial letter said he had 30 days to file a request to reopen the case. The immigration attorney wanted him to file it after the closure letter. I said, are you crazy? Then you're going to be kicked out of the country. I said, sign up as a member and then you can call me, which he did. And he called me and I saved his butt. I saved him. And I saved him a dump truck load of money too. So he can use that money for a vacation somewhere. So I don't know. Queen and I, we went on vacation in March to Nevada and Arizona. We went to Las Vegas. We went to Pahrump, Nevada. We went to some towns in Arizona. We went to the Grand Canyon. And guess what? We kept all the receipts of our vacation. The plane tickets, the hotel receipts, the bus rides, the dinner dates we went on. And all that information is going into her 10-year green card application. So immigration's going to say, oh, look, Diego and Karina went on vacation to Las Vegas. Check it out. There's pictures, at least 10. So when you file for a 10-year green card, okay, you want to include pictures from when you first started dating each other. So Karina and I, we first started dating each other in 2021 in Bogota, Colombia. So we're going to put pictures from 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Those pictures were primarily in Colombia. Right? Then we're in Florida, 2024, 2025, 2026. Those pictures are in Florida, plus our vacation to Nevada and Arizona. What you're trying to do is prove to somebody who's sitting in a desk that your relationship is real, that you love somebody, that you've been in a relationship with them for a long time, that you have evidence that backs up your claim for this benefit. Because you have to understand, a green card is not a right. A K-1 visa is not a right. It's a benefit. And you got some of these people in the United States who are green card holders who have broken our laws, who are saying, well, I'm going to hire an immigration attorney. I've got a right to be here. I've got constitutional rights. The hell you do. If you are in this country on a green card and you break the freaking law, your ass is being deported, depending on what the crime is, obviously. You know, if it's a serious enough crime, you're out of here. Well, I got a right to be here. No, you don't. You're a guest in this country. But when you become a U.S. citizen, then that's when you can say, I have a right. But green card holders, they have constitutional rights, obviously. But they got to remember they're guests in the country. Karina, my beautiful wife from Arizona, is a guest in this country. But I'm helping her work very hard every day to become a U.S. citizen. She's in English classes. She can't speak English, so she's in English classes. She's learning English. I've got her, when I make a video for you guys, I've got her started reading the first beginning of the video. I've got her in English. I've got her speaking in English the beginnings of the video. So that helps her learn English. She's watching TV shows in English. If you are in this country and you are a green card holder and you want to become a citizen, you got to speak English. It's the language of the United States. Okay, like when I was in Colombia, the language of Colombia, the official language of Colombia is Spanish. So I learned Spanish. It took me like 2 years, but I learned how to speak Spanish. I can hold a conversation with Karina in Spanish. You know, I mean, like I went into a Chinese restaurant with Karina, and I started ordering stuff in Spanish, and the lady was looking at me cross-eyed. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, I'm so used to speaking Spanish with Karina. So I'm placing the order in Florida in a Chinese restaurant for freaking in Spanish, and the lady's looking at me cross-eyed. I don't speak Mandarin Chinese, so I had to switch back to English. But you know, it's the consequences, right? Of always learning something new. Like I learned how to put a YouTube channel together. I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to put all this equipment together. I mean, I never in my wildest dreams ever thought that I'd be running a YouTube channel for anybody. But we do it for you. And here it is. Now I've learned how to do this. So when you get to the United States, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, when you get your green card in your hand, open up a business. Learn how to run a business. Start a small business from your house. You could start a YouTube channel. You know, you could make money from a YouTube channel. Who knows, right? But when you get to the United States, volunteer for different things. Get involved in the community. Because this is going to be the new norm if you want to be a U.S. citizen. The new norm now to become a U.S. citizen is community involvement. You know, like Karina, she's in January, she's going to join the Chamber of Commerce. She can't speak English very well, but she's going to join the Chamber of Commerce and go to their evening functions. She can't go to the daytime because she's at work, obviously. So we're going to go to the evening functions. She's going to stand up and speak in her best English. Hello, my name is Karina Ross. I'm from Venezuela. I just started a coffee company. So she's got a business started. She's a member of the chamber, which is community involvement. And all this evidence is going to be compiled and put together for her U.S. citizenship interview. You got to be thinking down the road, all the way down the road, because unless you just want to hang out with Karina and I, mainly when Karina's not busy, if you want to hang out with me on this YouTube channel for the next 10 years, learning about green cards and visas, then that's fine. But my advice to you is to focus on becoming a U.S. citizen. Because when you become a citizen, you know, then you don't have to hang out with Diego on this live stream. You can be making a business. You can be You can be voting if you want to. You can register to vote, run for office. I mean, I don't care what your political affiliation is on this channel. I'm going to help you get your green card. If you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, I'm going to help you. But if you are a communist or a socialist, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you. But if you are a Democrat or a Republican, I'm here to help you get to reach your dreams and get your green card. And then focus on becoming a citizen. And don't panic. Lots of people, they have panic attacks because, they haven't heard from immigration for a couple of months. It's okay. When you file for your 2-year green card, if you haven't heard anything for 2 or 3 months, it's okay. Just relax. Trust me, if there was a problem with your application, you're going to get a letter right away. Denied. There's a problem here. But if there's no issues, if you're waiting and waiting and waiting, it's all part of the process. So you got to learn patience, okay? Like, imagine this. I was in Colombia, in Bogota, with Karina, and then the President of the United States, Joe Biden, told me, an American citizen, that I cannot return to the United States unless I prove evidence of a COVID vaccination. What kind of crap was that? Number one, the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution protects me from revealing my medical history to a freaking airport employee, an airline employee working behind a freaking desk selling plane tickets. Does not need to know my medical history, including my vaccination history. It's none of their freaking business. But Biden made it their business. It was unconstitutional and was the most un-American thing that I've ever experienced. He trapped me in Colombia. But I wasn't a victim to him. I was a victor. Besides telling him to kiss my ass, okay, I just stayed in Colombia until that unconstitutional edict was lifted. And it was eventually. And I told Karina, I've been with you 11 months and now I can travel again. Because the communist Biden has lifted his unconstitutional orders. So for me, trying to get this NOA 2 letter, now I'm not bashing Biden because that's his mentality. That's how he thinks. That's how he was raised, wherever he was raised. He was raised like a freaking Marxist, okay, a socialist. That's how he thinks. He obviously didn't study civics when he went to high school. Because if he had studied the U.S. Constitution and civics, he would have realized he was making big mistakes. Okay? Plus, he's a real old guy and probably didn't know what he was doing anyway. Just my opinion. Now, like I said, I'm not a political person. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. But politicians in this country need to start following the Constitution and not following their gut feelings. Well, I don't like that. I want to go with this. Well, that's not what the Constitution says, dude. Republican or Democrat, I don't care. But if the Constitution says you cannot do it, you don't freaking do it. Right? Learn the Constitution, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary. Learn the Constitution. Study the history of our country, because you're the future of our country. Immigrants coming to the United States right now who are processing to become citizens. You're part of the future of our country, not forgetting Americans and the children who are growing up, but you're going to be part of the history of this country. Make sure you learn it correctly. Remember, we're a republic, not a democracy. When I hear politicians, Republicans and Democrats say we're a democracy, I want to throw up because we're not. We're a republic. What does it mean to be a republic? It means if the Democrats in power, the Republicans still have representation. If the Republicans are in power, the Democrats still have representation. That's a republic. The Democrats have representation, and the Republicans and everybody, all Americans, no matter what their political affiliation, they will always have representation by a member of Congress. But in a full-blown democracy like Venezuela, with Maduro, the communist dictator, if you don't support Maduro, okay, you go to prison. That's a democracy. Mob rule. The popular vote wins. The popular vote controls. But the Venezuelan election was a massive fraud anyway. Maduro didn't win the election. The other guy did, Edmundo, and he had to flee the country, and he's living in Spain. But Maduro's days as president of Venezuela are coming down to the wire because President Trump, okay, is sick and tired of Maduro sending his bad stuff into the United States, not to mention the prisoners he's been releasing. So Maduro's days as president are numbered, and if I was him, what he should do is go back to being a bus driver or relocate to Russia or China. That's my opinion. And then the U.S. Embassy in Caracas, Venezuela is going to reopen, and then all those beautiful Venezuelans who are engaged to Americans can process their K-1 visas from the embassy in Caracas, Venezuela. And then hopefully Karina and I can go on vacation to Venezuela and go see her mom and dad and her brothers and my nieces and nephews. So I can go buy them lots of stuff in the store. That's how capitalism works, right? You go buy stuff. When you buy stuff, somebody lifts up in their life and their life gets better. That's how capitalism works. Communism and socialism doesn't work. Socialism is where everybody's miserable and in poverty. In capitalism, not everybody's going to be rich, and not everybody's going to be poor. But you have an opportunity to become rich. You got an opportunity. That's what the United States is all about. You're given an opportunity. Karina has an opportunity to become a millionaire if she wants. Why? Because of the freedoms that she has in this country. And that applies to you guys too. Americans and foreigners, immigrants, whatever you want to call yourselves, beneficiaries. I want to see you succeed. So does Karina. Karina wants to see you succeed and one day you become a millionaire. You can buy a house that you want. You can buy the car of your dreams. It doesn't matter. Or you can invest the money in gold, whatever you want to do. But first you got to get your freaking green card. And when you get your green card, use it to benefit your family. Okay, you can get a job, 9-to-5 job. But while you're doing your 9-to-5 job, when you get home at night, look at starting a little business out of your house. Start a YouTube channel. I mean, if I can start a freaking YouTube channel and get over 3,000 subscribers, then anybody can do it. It just takes a lot of work. That's all. So anyway, I've been talking for an hour almost. Like I said, if you want to become a member, you can. If you become a member, you get my phone number and my email address. You can call me, text me anytime you want. I don't care what day it is. If you have an emergency with your immigration paperwork and you got to get an answer right away, send me a text and I will help you. I don't care what day it is. Okay? I got 33 members. I think I'll max it out. I think I'll max it out at 50. And then I won't go past 50 members. That's it. That's all I'm going to deal with. So I'll be back. Today's Wednesday. Now, I'll be back on Saturday, but Saturday is going to be for members only. I'm going to do a live stream on Saturday just for members of the channel. So you guys, the 33 folks who are members, if you want to chat with me, you can. And then I'll be back again on Monday for everybody, you guys who are not members. Okay? I got my Bogota t-shirt on. Life is good. Karina went to the dentist today and almost had a heart attack when she saw the price for freaking x-rays. The x-rays in Colombia were $6. Here it was $325 for the same thing. Insane, right? But hey, that's how it works. That's how it works. We'll see you guys at the next live stream. And if you are a member, I'll see you guys on Saturday.